The topic is doctrine of implied authority. What is the doctrine of implied authority? This is being covered by section 19 of Indian Partnership Act, which explains it as the act of the partner which is done to carry on in the usual way business of the kind carried on by the firm, binds the firm. The authority of the partner to bind the firm conferred by this section is called his implied authority. In other words, the act by which a partner can bind its firm in the routine business of the partnership firm is called as the implied authority of a partner. It means the firm is bound by the acts done by its partner, which are being done in the routine business of the firm, which are being done in the usual way to carry on the business of the firm. In other words, when a partner has the capacity to bound the partnership firm by its acts, it means this is the implied authority of an partner. The firm would be liable only if the few conditions are being fulfilled. Among those conditions, the first condition is the act of the partner must be in the type of business carried on by the firm. That means the activity which the partner is doing must be the part of the business. The act must be done in the usual way. It should not be done in an extraordinary manner. It should be the part of the routine business of the firm. The act must be done in the name of the firm. When a partner do something, if it is being done on his personal behalf, this is not the implied authority of the partner, because by this name, by his individual name, he cannot bind the firm. But if he uses the name of the firm while doing any activity, it would bind the firm, so it would cover under the implied authority of a partner. The nature of business, customs, etc. must be known before deciding the acts of a partner which can bind a firm. A same activity done may be under the implied authority of the partner, or may not be under the implied authority of a partner. It would depend upon the type of the business, nature of the business, and the different customs of that business, which would decide that a particular activity is to be covered under the implied authority of a partner or not. In case of a trading business, let's see the example. The firm deals in sale and purchase of goods. So, an act of the partner to borrow money may be in his implied authority. As this example says, if we have a trading business, and in that trading business, the partners have to do the sale and purchase of the goods. And for doing this sale and purchase of the goods, if a partner borrows the money for the same purpose, it is covered under the implied authority. But in case of non-trading business, such activity of borrowing money may not be covered under the implied authority of a partner. Let's see the example. A and B were carrying on a banking business in partnership. A received a certain sum of money on behalf of the firm, but B did not know anything about the money received by A, and he used the money for his personal benefits. In this case, the firm is liable for the money received by A, as it was received in the usual course of the business of the firm. No doubt the money is being used for the personal benefits, but the money which was received, that was received on the behalf of the firm, means the name of the firm was used, and the money was received in the usual course of the business. That means it was a routine activity of the partnership business. So all the conditions in this example are being satisfied to include an activity into the implied authority of a partner. So in this example, the firm would be liable for the money received by A on the behalf of the firm. Regarding partners' implied authority to borrow money, following judicial decisions are important to know, where the different judicials has given the different kind of decisions. First is the partner of a firm carrying business of commission agent have no implied authority to borrow. This decision was given in the case of Balaji Finance Corporation versus R. Venu Gopal. And in another case of SN Soni versus Tawfiq Farooqi, the court decided that the partners of a finance company have the implied authority of endorsing a promissory note of the firm. And a different kind of decision was given in case of R Sons versus Padmavati, in which the court says that the firm of engineering contractor is a non-trading firm. In case of general commercial nature, following acts are within the implied authority of a partner. That means when it is a general commercial nature of the business, we include the following activities into the implied authority of the partners. One is he may pledge or sell the partnership property. He has the right to buy goods on account of partnership, as the business is to as the business may be to buy or to sell the goods. So in this case, in the general commercial nature business, the partner has the capacity to buy goods on the account of the firm. He may borrow money, contract debts, and pay debts. He may make, draw, or accept the negotiable instruments on the behalf of the firm. And any act done within the scope of the implied authority of the partner, but for his own personal purpose, as I have already said, any activity done under the implied authority of the partner, but the activity was done for the own personal purpose of the partner, would not bind the firm. It would not be considered as the implied authority of the partner on the behalf of the partnership firm. But the payment by a partner for his personal debt from the funds of the firm does not bind the firm too, because the money is used for the personal purpose of the partner. That means we can say, if any activity is being done on the personal behalf for the personal purpose of the partner, it would not be binding upon the firm. It cannot be described under the implied authority of the partners. What are the acts which are being included in the implied authority of the partners? The one is to engage a lawyer and defend the action brought against the firm. If any action is being done against the firm and the partner has engaged a lawyer to defend that case, and for that case, if the partner has to spend any kind of money, so that would be considered under the implied authority of the partner to pay that charges. To purchase goods of the kind that are used in the business of the firm, to engage servants to perform the business of the firm, because the partners has to run the business, and to run that business, if the partner of the firm engages any servant to perform the business of the firm, this is being counted under the implied authority of that partner. If the partner has to receive payments of the debts due to the firm and give receipts for the same, this is again under the implied authority. To settle accounts with the person dealing with the firm. Settle account means if the firm has to pay or if the firm has to receive some money from the other party, the partners has the authority to settle all those accounts and to sell the goods of the firm on the behalf of the firm. That means anything which is being done in the usual manner for the name of the firm, for the benefit of the firm, done by the partner, is counted under the implied authority of the partner. Basically, the nature of the firm should be taken in care when we decide that any act is under the implied authority or not of a partner. What are the acts that are being counted as outside the implied authority of the partners? So there are certain restrictions imposed on the implied authorities, which makes the activities outside the implied authority of the partners. These are being discussed as under. One is the statutory restrictions. Some restrictions are being imposed by the Indian Partnership Act itself on the partners, that are known as the statutory restrictions, and these restrictions are being covered under section 19 subsection 2. An implied authority of a partner does not empower him to do what? One, to submit a dispute relating to business of a firm. to open a banking account on behalf of the firm in his own name. If any partner opens any account on the behalf of the firm, it is under the implied authority. But if that account of the firm is being opened at the name of the partner, this can never be under the implied authority of the partner. This is outside the implied authority. To compromise any claim or portion of claim by the firm. If any compromise in any claim is to be done, that is to be done by the firm at the name of the firm. Only a single partner cannot compromise any kind of claim or a portion of claim by the firm. To withdraw a suit filed on behalf of the firm. If in any case the firm has filed any suit and only a partner cannot withdraw a suit without the permission of all the partners. If it is being done, it would be counted as the act outside the implied authority of a partner. To admit any liability in a suit or proceedings against the firm. If someone has sued the firm and a partner admits any liability in that suit or the proceedings against the firm without the consent of all other partners, that means it is the act done out of the implied authority of a partner. To acquire immovable property on behalf of the firm. No partner can acquire the immovable property on the behalf of the firm. It is the firm's name which is to be used to acquire the immovable property. To transfer the immovable property, as in case of acquiring the immovable property, same the immovable property cannot be transferred on the behalf of the firm by any partner. And to enter into partnership on behalf of the firm, no partner has the authority to enter into the partnership on the behalf of the firm. That means if a partner has to enter into a partnership, he has to take the permission of all the other partners, and he cannot make the firm entered into a new partnership at his own will. So all these restrictions are being imposed on the partners by the partnership act itself. Second type of restrictions are being imposed by the partnership deed. As we have already discussed, what is the meaning of partnership deed? That means partnership deed is that document which contains all the rules and the conditions of the partnership. So some restrictions may be imposed by the partnership deed. So among those, the first one, which is covered under section 20 of Indian Partnership Act, and explains that implied authority of the partner may also be restricted by an agreement between them. That means if all the partners make an agreement that this particular task is not to be done by the partners, that means it would be outside the authority of the partners. However, the firm would be liable for such restricted act if the person dealing with the firm has no knowledge of such restrictions. Let's say the partners has made an agreement that a particular transaction is not to be done by any partner, and the party with whom the contract was made, which was outside the firm, don't have any idea that the partners have such kind of agreement between them, and in absence of that knowledge, the party makes a contract with the partner, so that for that act the firm would held liable. Let's see the example. A and B were partners in a firm. The firm was carrying on the business of garages and repairing the cars. Partnership agreement provided that partners shall not buy or sell their cars on behalf of the firm. A sold a second-hand car to which the firm had no title. Later on, when buyer came to know that firm had no title, he claimed the amount from B, the other partner. It was held that B was liable to pay the amount as buyer did not know anything about such restrictions. So as in this example, the contract is being done by A, and there was a mutual agreement between both the partners that they would not buy or sell any car on behalf of the firm. But when the partner A has done it and the other party to whom the car was sold don't know about the facts of this agreement, so in that case the firm would be liable for the sale of the car. In case of statutory restrictions, the firm is not liable whether the person dealing with the firm has knowledge of the restrictions or not. But in case of partnership deed, if the other party don't know about the restrictions imposed, the firm would be held liable.